Hey guys, welcome to Wealthy Mentor Trading Sunday stream. I just wanted to get this out there to give everyone an idea of what names I'm looking at, some key resistance points, support points, what I think of the market going into this week. So basically, I just want to share my screen and show you some of the stocks that I normally trade and what I would do in certain situations. Um, So I guess we can just start with futures. Um, last week was kind of a slow week. We were trying to push up towards the 33.80 mark. We got there a few times and got rejected. There was some bearish news on Trump getting COVID and whatnot. In reality, that means nothing to the market. It's just, people get afraid and they start selling off. And it's just typical market maker nonsense disguised in other clothing. But looking at futures right now, I mean, we're up almost 1%. I don't know if that's going to hold tomorrow morning. A lot happens. I don't really look too much into futures um, the night before. I like to look at it, I would say, a couple of hours before opening, um, as volume is very weak. So right now it looks good. Um, Looking at the NASDAQ, I mean, they're on par too. They're up 1%. They move side by side, Obviously, if SPX goes down, NASDAQ pulls down as well, especially with futures. Um, so some of the stocks I like to look at, obviously, I love Apple. So we're going to start off with Apple. And on the daily time frame, we're very much still bullish. On the weekly, you'll see that, any person that looks at this chart says, well, it's going towards higher highs. And it's going to break these levels. But as traders, we tend to look at the smaller time frames and we end up, having short vision. So what I usually do is I start with the daily. I look at it. I'm like, all right, what are some key levels here that I want to identify? And right off the bat, something that I look at is this point right here, right? This level at 102. That's the major thing for me here because that was pretty much the breakout point where we made these, we had this big push. Another level of support that I would look at if we were to sell off would be this point right here. Again, we traded it into this channel and we broke out. I see this as support 88.50, 101.75. On the upside, if I'm looking at key levels to break, it would probably be more around, 118.50. And the next confirmation I would want to look at is breaking 23.50, $24. That's the major one, 124, sorry. As a day trader, I would look at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute charts. So if I'm looking at the 15-minute chart right now, I have support currently at 113, right? 113, a wick all the way to 1250, 112.50. If I'm looking at the 5-minute chart, and we open up and we're still in this range, I usually don't like to touch that type of stuff. I'm more of a breakout trader. I like to see certain numbers break. And for Apple, I have, 113 all the way to 112. You can get a wick all the way to 112. So you might want to set your stop losses accordingly. But it's pretty much no dice on Apple until we break 116.50, 116. And I could see it going as far as, 117. Not sure why it's doing that, but 117.50, right? if 117.50 gets breached, I'm looking at, let's just say $18. Stocks like to move in round numbers. Looking at the 1 hour chart, at the moment, the way it looks right now, I would say we could drop all the way to 108.50. That would be major support, right? If that breaks, we're looking at 102, 103, 102, to be honest. Those are my levels. Let's see, Tesla, one of my favorite names out there, has a lot of volatility. Robinhood traders tend to love the stock, and part of the euphoria was from that. As traders, we don't care. We love volume. It's like our lifeline. So looking at the daily chart, we're still very much bullish. We're creating these little stair steps here. I could look at it and say, all right, we're developing some sort of wedge, and it's tightening, right? So obviously it can shoot up to the upside or to the downside. Nobody knows. What you can do is, you zoom in on the smaller time frames and where you could potentially see a breakout on Tesla. Right now it looks like we're breaking down on Tesla because I just drew this wedge right here, and it could be a fake out. We don't know yet. I need more data. But if I was to look at it on a 15-minute time frame, it looks like we are heading down to the 406, usually 407.50. I look at 405, 400. If we break that, I could see us going all the way to 388 as the next level of support. And if the market goes crazy for whatever reason, the next level of support is the 161, 164 mark I like to look at. But again, like I was saying, if we look at it on the daily time frame, we have this, squeeze right here. And in order to tell what usually happens here is that you want to see some major volume pump in. It could come through some sort of fundamental news. Elon Musk decides to expand his battery business in Guatemala, for example. And that's obviously bullish for the market. So keep an eye on Tesla. Some of the numbers that I'm looking at on the short time frame. Let's just delete these. Shorter time frame, support at 405, 407.50. And what you want to see is a break of 450, 455 area. We've been kind of stuck into this, and it's been playing ping pong around 350, pretty much all the way to 450. We had a little spike out here back in September 18th. So pretty much I'm neutral on Tesla until I see a break of 450, and I want to see the volume, and I want it to be backed up by something. Looking at NVIDIA, one of my favorite stocks to trade. If I'm looking at the daily time frame, again, we're bullish. But as a day trader, I'm looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute time frames and looking overall at the daily, knowing that we are in a bullish trend. So my mindset is going to be triggered bullish long term, but on the short term, I have these key levels on the 5 minute time frame. I see that, we have support down at 517, 517.50 is a good level. On the higher time frame, 15 minute gives a little more clarity here. 517 support. The next major one is around 512.50, And if, we really sell off, I see this going back to 500, 505 within the week. We need to basically break 526.50 and create a pattern moving forward. But right here, I'm more bearish than bullish on the shorter time frames. So just be cautious when you're entering these long trades on NVIDIA. And if you're an options trader, time and price is a major thing, especially with the weeklies. You open up the market on Monday and you see NVIDIA down 3%. It's going to take a beating on your premium. So keep that in mind. Netflix, this is one of the stocks that actually held really well during the whole pandemic. It actually moved higher. People were sitting at home. The sentiment was, pretty good for Netflix. It's been stuck in this channel for quite a while, and I would say that channel was anywhere from 515 all the way to about 460. And again, I look at the stock, and to me, we're in an uptrend, and it's creating some sort of bull flag, a move upwards here, right? And the flag right here. And even though this is on the daily, it's going to take some time to develop, but basically we're looking at a break of 580 for that flag to completely play out. Again, as a day trader, I keep the longer term time frames in mind. As a short term daily scalper, someone that wants to get in and out of positions, I look at the 5-minute time frame. And much like NVIDIA and much like a lot of the names on the market, we're in a downtrend. And if I'm looking at this, let's put on the 15-minute one for a little more data. If I'm looking at this, I'm saying to myself, you know what? If we break 500, most likely we'll find support at 495 to 490. I could find a good buying opportunity around those areas. If you look at the 1 hour, we had a huge run up here. About 13%, right? We broke out of this level right here. That was pretty important. It was 510. It's good to always come back and retest this. However, it broke through, and I could see this thing coming down as far as 492 for a minor retracement. Now, again, on the daily, we're stuck into this channel. So it's just swishing around here, right? The major number here is 510, 512. I would say 526 if you really want to be conservative and safe. And if we can't break out of this, we're always going to be in this little channel from here. And it's a pretty significant channel. You can make some great gains. I'll pull back from 527 down to 560. That's 11%. So keep that in mind that we are in a tightening channel. On the 5-minute, 15-minute time frames, it looks like we are going to be pulling back down to 492, 487, and if we really sell off, it's at 477. I would start to be more of a bull around the 510, 512 mark, and not just a pinch over. I want to see a break of that, consolidation, and a breakout. At the very minimum, we got to be above VWAP, and VWAP again is 513, 515, 517 mark. Roku. Roku is one of those stocks, much like Netflix. It's one of those sit at home, watch movies. During the pandemic, obviously their ratings are higher. They're doing great things, sport in different countries, coming out. They're very innovative, much like the tech stocks. So again, I'm looking at the weekly and I see that we've had a breakout here, right? We're at all-time highs, almost oversold on the weekly. So keep that in mind. Last time we were oversold on the weekly, we had a nice drop of 43%. And that was back in September 2019, right? It's been a long time. Obviously, COVID around February, we had another big drop of 60%. Again, when you're into oversold territory, keep that in mind. So the stock is very volatile. However, we're making all-time highs. So the levels are very hard to predict. I always say let your winners run, obviously, and I am very disciplined when it comes time to cut my losses. And I do that. Basically, that's what a great trader does. You cut your losses. When you're wrong, you're wrong. You can't have that mentality going in and say, oh, well, I hope that it goes to this or it goes to this, it goes to this. That's a loser's mentality. Truthfully told, I can make 100 successful trades and about 100 losing trades, and I could still finish 10 grand plus for that week, for that month, right? It's all about discipline. And when you're wrong, you cut your losses. When you're right, let them ride. So in this case, if I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame, another staircase pattern going up. We went up to 180s, consolidated, pushed up, right? Retested VWAP right here, pushed back up. Again, down here, retested the support at 186, which is good support. It's been hit many times, right? So you have support here, 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 which is also the break up point when we're back at 176. So if I was looking at support on this time frame, I would have it at, let's just see, it could be a channel of 198, right, for short-term support, all the way to down 194. Again, we're looking at the 15-minute time frame. So these are for scalpers, scalp trades when the volatility is high. I usually have this as my watch list. Those numbers that you see, bear and bull, this is what it means. So as a options trader myself, I look at these little small, percentages, and they mean everything. Not so much if you're, have small capital and are trading shares, I get it. But this is to give you an idea of where we would see a pullback. I would say 198, 194. And if we can come back down here to test 186 and then move up, it would still be very healthy. So again, I have levels at 186, 176, and I'm pretty much looking at a break above 203.50 and 204. And I'm a breakout trader. I like to see certain levels break. And if we can break this, we're off to all-time highs. And when I see all-time highs, I let my winners run. But I also know where I can put a stop loss. And basically that says I'm wrong. I got stopped out, and there's no shame in that. I suggest a lot of new traders use stop losses. I got a lot of messages and stuff. Oh, where's support? And I got liquidated on my position. You should never get liquidated on your position. Whether you're trading futures, whether you're trading options, whether you're just trading shares, you should always have a limit where you say, you know what? I'm cutting my losses. You don't want your account to go to zero. You don't want to blow up an account. And I say this because I've been through there. I've been through these ups and downs, these peaks and these valleys. And I started this group to teach people. And a lot of it is psychology and your mentality and how you approach things. So, you know, big advice, cut your losses. Let your winners run. I know it's been said before, but it's true. And if you treat this as a business, making money little by little every single day, and instead of trying to get into a stock and trying to hit a casino home run, it ain't gonna work. I can tell you that. I've been there, I've done that, and it's not a successful way of trading. Okay, so 204, magic number on Roku. Let's look at some other ones. Which are some interesting ones. That's Zoom. I was never a big fan of Zoom, trading Zoom, but I like the volatility. It's somewhat predictable in where it wants to go, and we're near all-time highs. So looking at the daily, I mean, look at this chart. You know, automatically I see that's way overextended, but in this market, you just gotta take it day by day. I have major support at 458. I have support at 341. I have major resistance at all-time highs at 531. I have another support going at 276. So these are my main levels that I like to watch. You can also say 260, 364 is another support area. But as a day trader, I zoom into the 15-minute time frame. I look at this chart tomorrow and I see, okay, well, we're stuck in this channel from all-time highs at 532, and we have support at 458. But if I'm looking at the smaller time frames, I'll say, all right, tomorrow I'm looking at a break of 508. Another break right here, 495. Used it as support, and we can use it as a breakout as well. As we see, we broke down from here. I would have another area right here, right? As many confirmations as you can get, the better, you know, and I have support pretty much right here. And I would say support right here, right? The 15-minute time frame. So we have our support zones at, let's just say 480. Markets love round numbers. We have support at 473. We have support at 458. And these are broad numbers, but Zoom is a $480 stock. This thing moves 2 or 3%. You're easily looking at all-time highs. I mean, if you're looking at it on the daily, how far are we from all-time highs? 10%. A name like this easily can move 4, 5, 6, 7% in a day. One of those names, again, sit at home. A lot of 9 to 5 workers are using Zoom to communicate with their coworkers. So this stock shot up like crazy. If you're looking at it weekly, very bullish. And when I look at this, I'm like, okay, well, there's no way I'm going to get into something like this as an investor. It's just too overly extended. Look at the RSI on the weekly. I mean, look at the monthly. Where's support on the monthly, right? As an investor, I would be thinking like that. It's just one of those stocks I wouldn't touch. That's just my style. But as a trader, I'm looking at these levels. and they're important to me. Tomorrow, if we pull back to the 473, I can see us going back all the way down to 460. If I'm looking at an hourly, 4-hour, I'm bullish on the longer time frames. So this one's a pretty tricky one. I have the levels set out here. I would also have the levels set out in my my daily watch list. All right. Let's just see some other ones that people like playing or I like playing. BYND. Fake meat company. Never tried it. But its stock is pretty crazy. So if I'm looking at it on the weekly, I wouldn't say I'm bearish or bullish. Pretty much neutral on the stock. I see on the weekly 175 as major resistance. Next is 187. You know, going through these two resistance points is pretty much we're going to set all-time highs. You know, it's just inevitable on the weekly. I wouldn't say inevitable, but more likely than not. Again, on the daily, I'm looking at 174.50, 175 for a breakout, and 185 as my next take profit potential on the daily. As a scalper, you know, we have support at 163.50, 163. We could drop as low as 160 and all the way down to 155 as my line of support that I've drawn here. Let's see. I mean, it's a healthy staircase pattern. You know, you could say we have support on this line right here. If we break this, you know, again, support is 153, 153, 155, right? If we break this trend line, break the support, we're most likely going down to 142. I don't see that. I mean, anything is possible in this market nowadays, but looking at on the higher time frames, you know, I'm more skewed to more bullish than bearish, but still neutral, if that makes sense. BA, I don't know what it is, but I hate the stock. I've been burned so many times with Boeing, and I don't know, it's one of those love-hate relationships. But again, Boeing on the weekly time frame, we're nowhere near recovery. And if I was to look at the daily, again, we're in this breakdown from COVID highs of 347 as far as $88. And, you know, we had this little run up here, retested major support at 120, had a nice breakout. 233, 240 is a major level, I would say. If I was looking at, you know, road to recovery type bullish scenario, but I don't really care about all that. I'm looking at, you know, the smaller channels. And to me, you know, if I was looking on the daily, I would say 188 to 192 is major resistance. And support would be down here at 150 and 143, right? If I'm looking at as a day trader, scalper, options trader, I'm looking at support at 162, right? We could even draw this line right here as support, right? So 162 is my level. Next one is 160. And we have the gap fill, which is support. And it also fills the gap at 156. Now, a lot of times these stocks like to fill the gaps. Most likely than not, they do. That's just my experience. However, a lot of times if we do fill the gap, we might bounce off support and move forward. But that's longer term thinking. Going into tomorrow, I'm looking at 165 as support. First support, second support at 162. A good shorting opportunity or buying puts would be at 162, 161. And I would shoot for that gap. I don't see this as major support, but I put it there. It's worth something. The market might stop there, but if it's a bigger sell-off, a break of 160, 161, 162, you could see it going all the way to 156 and perhaps even 150. On a bullish note, I would say a break of 170, 171 to be more safe. And we could potentially go up to 174.50. Next is 177.50 and 180. That's what I see on VA. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. This was the first video. I wanted to get to you guys earlier, but I was having trouble with my microphone and the audio wasn't crisp, and half the time the video wasn't working. So I'm going to try to have these videos out more and more, most likely on Sundays at nighttime, just before the market, on the next day. If you guys are interested in any specific names that you want me to look at, just mention in the comment section, and I'll write it down as one of the stocks to look at going forward. As mentioned before, I'm a breakout trader. I play conservative, and I like to take small wins. I know many people are out there making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a day, but that doesn't have to be you. And your mindset doesn't have to be like that. It's not a competition. The way I treat this, I treat it as a business, and I make a living off this. This is what I do for, to pay my mortgage, to pay my bills, to have a great life. And I've been doing it for a long time, and, it's my strategy. I like breakouts. I like tightening ranges. I like wedges. Those type of things. Ascending triangles. I look at those as key indicators. I don't use many indicators, just support and resistance. I do use the RSI. I do use MACD just for further clarification, but I never use those as my bread and butter plays. Those are lagging indicators, and they shouldn't be your go-to signal into entering a trade. The best way is always to look at a naked chart. And I do trade on Thinkorswim. And for those that do use Thinkorswim and are well-versed in the platform, I'll pull that up next time and draw my support and resistance zones and go through my watch list there. But I tend to look at anywhere from 5, 7 to 10 stocks a day. But I might actively look at 3 or 4. And it's always best to zoom in on certain names that you like trading and understand their mannerisms. I got a lot of questions saying, oh, well, this stock's up 20%, 10%. What are the key levels? Automatically to myself, I would never touch that. I don't like to chase, ever. The stocks that I normally look at are part of my game plan. I look at them the night before. I look at them at the market open. I look at them pre-market. I look at the news, their behaviors. They've been upgraded. It's something that I understand. And I suggest to every one of you that are starting, find stocks that you're comfortable in trading. do your own analysis, and don't jump in with emotions. The key to a great trader is preparation, journaling, writing down key support, resistance, reading the news to see what that specific stock, what's going on. Their CEO could have been fired in the morning, right? Apple CEO, for example. And a lot of people don't understand, well, why is this going down? Should I enter? Should I not? Well, if you understand how to read a chart, you wake up early in the morning, if you journal the night before, you're going to succeed in this. You're taking out the guesswork. You're taking out all the emotions because you're following your game plan. And that's what I try to do every single day. And I try to implement that into everyone that's been in this group as much as I can. These videos going forward will be part of the paid trading group. Right now, I want to get these out there and help as many people as possible, and also grow this community as much as possible. So I'm going to cut it right here. And if you have any suggestions, send me a comment below, DM, whatever you prefer. And looking forward to helping you guys out. Good luck on Monday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.